you can't be either Neo or Agent Smith. Not only do you need your ammo, but that ammo is kind of pointless if you don't have the proper tools to use it with. So right now would actually be an excellent time to go to your local gun shops or your local Rule King, head to that gun barn and start investing in some firearms and plenty of bullets. Right here is my Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport 2. Yeah, that sight's right on the money. So, tell you what, truthers, and my fellow Americans.
Go tell that long-time liar. Go and tell that midnight rider. Tell the rambler again with a backbite. Tell them the God. Tell them the God. Cut them down. Goodness gracious, let me tell you the news. My head's been wet with the midnight dew. I've been down on a bended knee, talking to the man from Galilee. He spoke to me in a voice so sweet, I thought I heard the angels. He called my name, my heart stood still. John, take my will. Run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. You may throw your rock and hide your hand, working in the dark against a fellow man. But as sure as God made black or white, what's down in the dark will be brought to the light. You can run on for a long time, run on for a long time, run on for a long time. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Tell him my God's gonna cut you down.
Welcome to, let's fix that. There we go. To a breaking news edition of the Truther Odyssey, where we seek the truth in a world full of disinformation and indoctrination. I am always your host, the Truth Talker, Jacob Eggers. I don't know if you guys have just heard. I didn't expect to be talking about this after I got home from work. Apologies that there has not been any content for the past 2 days. It just was not within my schedule to do it on Monday and Tuesday. Also, this upcoming Friday, guys, since it's going to be Friday, I think I'm just going to do that. Friday shows in the future at 8 p.m. I don't know, maybe 7. Maybe 7. You never know. Because Friday I have uh, something important to do at 3, so I won't be able to do this at 3, so it's going to be postponed on Friday. Remember, tomorrow we have a guest coming on, Courtney Turner. She and I are going to go deep down the rabbit hole of artificial intelligence. I'm excited to talk to her. It's going to get interesting, folks. So, here's the news. I saw clips of this when I got home. I'm like, there's no way. I've only been home a little over an hour now. That Israel dropped bombs on Damascus in Syria. That's our little video package at the beginning. That alien from Independence Day. Peace. No. Peace. We're going to watch this footage of the strike itself. It's going to get nuts, isn't it? Let me get this pulled up for you folks. Enlarge. I can't allow what happened last time with the whole freaking. I'm afraid to even say the words on here because I'm afraid if I say the words that messed up our last real good long live stream, it's gonna be whack. If I even say it, they'll just bring down the kabush. Yeah, I knew I was missing something. There we go. Boo-doo. Let's see this strike. Where I do that real quick. Aha. Good evening. I'm Walter Cronkite. State Department briefing. What is going on, dude? Israel's lost their freaking minds. I'm going to correct the statement I just made. Netanyahu has lost his mind. That is. How long does it take to get this party going? Here we go.
It's funny, it feels the same on a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. The president, of course, was very busy yesterday. I was at an event, and we didn't want to conflict with the president and his terrific event in Pittsburgh. So thank you for your understanding. But here we are today. We will also brief tomorrow as well. Thank you for being here. Of course, I do have a few comments. As we get settled in here, people are shaking hands. That's a very good sign. I prefer hands being shaken as opposed to throats being grabbed. Hi, you guys. Hi. I will note that your colleague Nadia, who is normally here, is not, because she was at the White House asking the president questions. So I'm a little jealous, but it's all right. I will rib her about that tomorrow. I hope she appears tomorrow. So thank you, everyone.
Is this from today?
This week, the United States is delivering results that uphold our values, protect our interests, and reinforce American leadership on the global stage.
73 minutes ago.
Over the weekend, in solidarity with the Cuban people on the anniversary of the July 11th, 2021 protests, Secretary Rubio designated regime figurehead hopefully get back on track in helping. I can't. All right. Yes, Jillian. Yes.
What is it that the U.S. is hoping to see in the next few hours?
Well, certainly an end to the conflict, an end to the nature of the violence that is happening, an Israeli withdrawal, a Syrian government withdrawal from the area as well.
And has the U.S. asked Israel to halt strikes on Syria?
I cannot speak to specific conversations or the exchanges diplomatically. But I can say that, let me see, there's a few things that might give us a sense here of what's happening. We are calling on the Syrian government to, in fact, withdraw their military in order to enable all sides to de-escalate and find a path forward. And I think that that's obviously the goal because of the nature of what's happened and the secretary's phrasing that this was a misunderstanding. He's optimistic that this can be achieved.
So you said you're looking for an Israeli withdrawal and a Syrian government withdrawal from the area. Can you be more explicit about where?
No, I can't. All right. Yes, Jillian.
So given what you just laid out, seems like it's safe to say that there is daylight between the president and Secretary Rubio and the Israelis?
Well, I wouldn't say that at all. No, but very good try. No, I think that there's, I think it's very specific what we've been asking. We've been obviously speaking with all the parties involved. We are involved and we know the parties involved. And the president and the secretary have noted that they expect de-escalation as soon as possible, that this was classically a misunderstanding between Israel and Syria and long-term tribal issues also in the area. But our best are on it, and that includes, of course, the leaders of the country.
Can you comment on the food aid that is set to expire, the 500 billion tons or whatever it is that is set to expire that was slated to head to help stave off, starvation in Afghanistan and Pakistan?
What I can say without the particular specifics is that we have a kind of a standard procedure that if food is expired, it will be destroyed. So let's get more information on that. I know that there was a conversation about the nature of food and whether or not if it is expired, and if that's the kind, we know we take action with that when it comes to the procedure. So we'll get an answer back for you on that. All right. Yes, sir.
Yes, hi. Thanks, Tim. Just back on Syria, can you give us a sense of whom the Secretary has reached out to, both on the Syrian side and on the Israeli side?
No.
And
sorry, I just had a quick answer. No.
All right. And second, can you give us some clarity as to what he meant exactly by a misunderstanding between Israel and Syria? I mean, I know he said it was complicated, so
yes, it's complicated.
A short answer, but
well, yes.
What did he mean? By
I won't characterize his statement or remarks. I would expect more comments to come from the president, perhaps, and certainly the secretary. They are, again, have been, as we have in general, involved in de-escalating this, which is the key. But within his experience, he felt that word was appropriate. Yes. All right. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's where Nadia should be sitting, though. I believe you better tell her. What's your name, sir?
Joseph.
Joseph, hi there. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I wanted to ask on Gaza if you have any updates to provide on ceasefire talks or progress on that.
Yes, we do. There's still negotiations. I'm not going to get into the details of what those are. And of course, last week, you'll recall that Secretary Rubio said that we are hopeful. He says, in the end, we're hoping they'll move to proximity talks. So obviously, it's a negotiating process that is underway and ongoing. He said, it appears that generally the terms have been agreed to, but obviously now you need to have talks about how to implement those terms. He noted, I should say now President Trump has noted, that we want to have a ceasefire. He's noted that many times. We have to have peace. We want to get the hostages back, and warned Hamas that it will only get worse if they don't agree to this arrangement. Right?
And then on Lebanon, Ambassador Barak was recently there and receiving a response to proposals or roadmaps for that country to disarm Hezbollah and implement certain reforms. Can you talk about any of the, what you want to call them, demands or asks that he made of the Lebanese government, specifically pertains to Hezbollah's weapons? Was there a timeline given? Has he warned that U.S. support could be withdrawn or reduced if the Lebanese government doesn't, make any progress?
Well, as you'll learn, we'll see you hopefully on occasion here, is that I won't speak about the nature of the specifics of what happens in a negotiation, what is asked for, what those conversations are. We do know, of course, that the ambassador, and as of course our special envoy also, has been very open about the fact that, and this was last week, that he was happy with the nature of the conversations and the commitment to disarm finances. Including through Al-Assad, is a USA priority. We welcome Lebanon's recent efforts in that regard as well, as a step in the right direction, but more needs to be done. The Lebanese government must abandon the potential institution used by Hezbollah to subvert international sanctions regimes and undermine Lebanon's formal economy. So I can have that for you. Yes, sir.
Tell me, there's a Qatari delegation.
We'll take your question, but then I'll come right back to you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
I know you're really close to each other. All right, go ahead.
There's a Qatari delegation visiting the White House tomorrow. And is the secretary going to be holding separate talks with members of the delegation? And also, what role do you think the Qataris can play in helping secure a ceasefire?
Well, I won't discuss what the Secretary's plans are at this point or who he'll be meeting with. We do know, of course, Qatar has been helpful in the past as a partner, but I won't go into the details of what we can expect in that regard. All right. And now, yes, sir.
The administration has done a lot of work with the new government in Syria to try and nurture relations, to try and embed stability there, lifting sanctions and delisting HTS and things like that. How did these Israeli strikes, which seem to amount to very sharp escalation, extremely dramatic and devastating pictures, particularly from Damascus, of the impact of the bombings, how does that affect your attempts to build that relationship with the new Syrian government?
Well, of course, we know, and we've made a tremendous commitment there to stabilize Syria, and our special envoy, Ambassador Barak, is leading that. And of course, we know of that escalation. Clearly, we've been involved in addressing it. And I think that, but is clear still comes from the Secretary's remarks regarding the issue of it being a miscommunication, essentially. And I think that's significantly different than an escalation. But I would wait for us to hear from the Secretary and the President as today unfolds. But neither of them had indicated that this seemed to be a dynamic that indicated something that could not be resolved. Their comments certainly indicated that they expected it to be and hoped it to be, and indicated even, again, for within the next few hours could be facilitated. Also about that, though, we do understand that the Israeli forces intervened to protect the Druze. So that is something we can confirm to you. But obviously, I think the comments of the Secretary speak for themselves.
Just
One more.
Yes. Just on one other issue is the ambassador, Mike Huckabee, the ambassador to Israel, appeared in the court hearing for Prime Minister Netanyahu's corruption trial today. I'm just trying to understand what part of the US national interest is served by doing that.
Well, we obviously support Israel. They are an ally and a partner. I won't characterize, as I don't anyone, their position or the actions they might take, but it would appear that the ambassador was exhibiting his support for Netanyahu.
But against the judicial system, I mean, is this an expression of distrust?
Well, I don't. I know that our inclination sometimes is to look into like the broader issues that we're all working on, but I would not suggest that someone attending to support someone facing a situation as some kind of a larger commentary about a judicial system or a country or anything beyond showing support for someone that they know or a friend. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. On the Syria, the Secretary obviously said that he had been in discussions all morning and night. Were you given advance warning that Israel was going to strike Damascus?
Not that I'm aware of. I think that the reaction of the President and Secretary of State indicate that we're reacting as we should when it comes to seeing something that was unexpected and could be resolved. And then their comments today indicated that was the response and what they expect to have happen, which they've obviously conveyed to the parties involved.
And then just quickly back to Ambassador Huckabee. Yesterday he issued quite a stern tweet calling the killing of a young American in the West Bank a terrorist act. Is that a reflection of a broader State Department viewpoint that the killing of Saif Musab
well,
was a
again,
terrorist act?
and welcome back, by the way. So it says thank you. I'm not going to characterize anyone's comments. I think that we've been clear. I can, of course, expand a little bit on our position in this regard. One thing, of course, we do repeat, and it's important, as the Secretary has also repeated, is that Ambassador Huckabee has asked Israeli authorities to aggressively investigate this case. And we refer you to the government of Israel for additional details related to that investigation. Because of the nature of the world these days, I say very often that we have no higher priority than the safety and security of U.S. citizens. It's a reminder to everyone watching at home, the role of the State Department and why we work as hard as we do. We can confirm the death of a U.S. citizen, Safale Masolet, in the West Bank on July 11th. We offer condolences to the family on their loss and are providing consular assistance to them. We are greatly concerned when any U.S. citizen is harmed overseas, wherever that may be. The United States calls for accountability in all cases where U.S. citizens are harmed abroad. All right. Yes, ma'am.
Secretary Rubio has taken a lot of ownership of, if not pride, in the reorganization of the State Department, which, as you well know, resulted in the layoffs of over 1,300 employees last week. Do you know, does the Secretary plan to address the workforce directly about this?
What I can tell you is that without forecasting his actions or any remarks, is that the Secretary, as you all know, is very vocal and likes people and engages with them as often as he can. He cares very much about this department and to the point where, look, he undertook something that others had talked about or wished could be done, but just didn't. It was important enough for him so that the people who are here could have a work experience and the result of the products they produce and the passion they have for the work, that it could actually be efficient, that it could get things done within an amount of time that makes it relevant. So it's his phrase is the at the speed of relevancy. I would he speaks to many of us a lot all the time, and I would expect, of course, that to be the case. He's been busy, as we all know, but constantly on the nature of where things stand.
Just respectfully, I mean, it's the department he oversees,
sure,
right?
Of course
he drove
will.
a lot of this
course.
Process, and I think that we've reported. And
well, I think that what I think layoffs. Don't move too far ahead of the fact that I'm not going to state when or how or whether he will. What I've said is that he speaks to us all the time. He loves the department, obviously. This is his home. And I think that on this issue and many others, the people who run this department, who make this department relevant and possible, all of us, whether we be political people or career people or foreign service officers, will hear from him, of course.
Can I ask on Russia as well? Or you mentioned the arrangement that the president laid out on Monday that the U.S. sell advanced weapons to NATO members who can then pass them on to Ukraine.
I didn't say exactly that. What we said was that this would involve NATO, and of course they would have the ability to then move them to other countries. So I think that's a specific difference. And I will not discuss certainly whatever we may or may not have negotiated or diplomatic discussions, and certainly far from being able to discuss what NATO leadership may be talking about.
One last question just on the 50-day timeline now for Russia. Have you gotten any indication from your Russian counterparts that there's an interest in a diplomatic solution?
I would say that referring back to President Trump's remarks probably gives us the most immediate sense of whether or not he views things as being positive or if he's happy with what Vladimir Putin has been doing. And of course, we've heard from him that he's not happy, is how I'll characterize it, that he's not impressed with the nature of how things have moved forward. And that's what we rely on. We hear, because he's a transparent man, the nature of his attitude about conversations and his assessment as the leader of the free world, of the entire world, effectively, that he's not happy. And I think his current actions of taking a path in order to provide Ukraine with more defensive weapons is an indication of that. But I've said before that while he is a diplomat and is forever optimistic about diplomacy, he's also a realist. And the world has seen, as Iran has seen, and now with these new actions by the president, that Russia is seeing that he's a patient man, but not at the expense of his vision and making that happen. All right, yes.
The American killed in the West Bank. Are there any circumstances in which the U.S. would open its own independent investigation into his murder?
Investigating, we've urged them. Investigations all know what has occurred. I'm not going to speculate on what may or may not happen once that investigation is complete, but we need to wait and let them do that and find out what they ascertain.
And then one on the reorg, there's been some criticism that these cuts and these changes actually run counter to the administration's priorities of making America safer, stronger, more prosperous. What do you say to those?
Obviously, that's wrong. That's wrong. We've done these things because it's not just having the vision, but knowing how we need to have that vision implemented. I've said from the very start, it is. I understand why it comes back. This idea that an existing structure that's large is the only thing that will work, or it's large because it does work. The opposite was true. It became large and began to lose its way and became ineffectual, bureaucratically. It is such a largesse there that things really couldn't get done. Not the fault of the people who were in those seats, but the structure itself. So you can look at a giant building, number of offices and the duplications, and it was not working. To cut something down, to have fewer people, to have fewer offices is not necessarily, and certainly in this case at all, true, that means that certain things are going to stop or certain things aren't going to be functioning as well. Fact of the matter is they will function better, that we will be able to serve the American people, get our mission done, implement our vision, because it's functional. So let's not mistake size and bulk for the appropriate methodology. You've got a nimble, effective organization that is what we need in order to get things done. Because of the 21st century, you learn about things now. If something happens as we did, let's say with Syria, something happens in Syria right this minute, in 2 to 5 minutes, all of you are going to hear about it on some platform or through some wire service, many of which you will be working for, and it'll be your colleagues. But we will hear about something in the other hemisphere within minutes of it happening. And then we don't have weeks or months to determine what our reaction will be. We also need to have a space where we can act at, when he says the speed of relevancy.
Okay, I'm over that. Let's do some reading. Sky News. Why Israel is getting involved in Syria's internal fighting. Israel is becoming further involved in Syria's internecine war and says it will remain there indefinitely to protect our communities. Dominic Waghorn. Wednesday. Israel has shown little respect for international borders since becoming the unraveled military hegemon of the Middle East today. That meant an Israeli airstrike on a government building in Damascus. Israel's attacks on a Syrian defense facility was intended as a of the part of southern Syria we have occupied or else. Okay. Israel has moved into parts of the south of the country, built military bases, and declared a line of control. On Monday, heading to restore order following an outbreak of factional fighting were attacked by Israeli warplanes. The presence of such vehicles in southern Syria could pose a threat to Israel, stated the Israeli Defense Forces. In reality, Syria's aging tanks pose minimal threat to Israel's state-of-the-art military that we pretty much provide them. The Syrian armor was attacked as it entered the area around Sweida in the Druze heartland of southern Syria following factional fighting there. The flare-up reportedly began with clashes between Bedouin and Druze groups that ended in scores killed. The background to the escalation is complicated. At least 3 Druze militia groups are divided in the loyalties to different religious leaders and differ over how they should respond to calls to assimilate in the new post-revolutionary Syria. Israel is becoming more and more involved in Syria's internecine war and says it will remain there indefinitely to protect our communities and thwart any threat. Its critics say Israel is operating a policy of divide and rule in Syria, weakening the fledgling government and creating a buffer zone to protect the border with the Golan Heights, originally Syrian territory that it has occupied and annexed for almost half a century. Since the fall of the Assad regime, Israel has used airstrikes to destroy much of Syria's military capability, weakening its ability to impose control on outlying regions. This makes it more, not less likely, Israel will have a volatile, unstable state on its northern border. America and European powers have chosen to normalize relations with the new government in Damascus and lift sanctions. In contrast, Israel has occupied its territory, bombed its military, and today hit one of its government buildings. In the capital. A limit to the blunt force can achieve alone. It requires diplomacy to achieve lasting gains, and Israel's repeated assault on multiple neighbors combined with its relentless campaign in Gaza are winning it few friends in the region. I believe it. Now, I found this in preparation for today's live stream, guys. Trying to dig into this particular story, right? The Israel attacking Syria. And I got led to the Jerusalem Post and found this. July 16th, 2025. Updated July 16th, 2025 at 2100. So that would be 9 p.m. over there. Sirens sound in Dead Sea area following missile launch by Yemen's Houthis. The IDF successfully intercepted the missile launch by the Iran-backed terror group with no report of casualties or damage. Sirens sounded on Wednesday evening in areas in southern Israel following a detected missile launch from Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen. Sirens sounded in the Dead Sea and surrounding areas. The IDF confirmed that it had intercepted the missile shortly after the incident. There were no reports of damage or casualties from the incident. Last Thursday, in a similar incident, rocket sirens sounded across central Israel and Jerusalem after the IDF detected a missile launch from Yemen. The IDF also successfully intercepted this missile. U.S.-backed anti-Houthi Yemen military intercepts 750 tons of munitions. Early on Wednesday, Yemen National Resistance Force a coalition fighting against Houthis intercepted an Iran armed ship 750 tons of stated on X/Twitter. The NRF intercepted and seized 750 tons of munitions and hardware, including hundreds of advanced cruise, anti-ship, anti-aircraft missiles, warheads, and seekers, as well as hundreds of drone engines, air defense equipment, radar systems, and communication equipment, they explained. The NRF, led by General Tarek Saleh, is one of the armed forces that fight alongside the internationally recognized government of Yemen and against the Houthi terrorist group. This is a developing story. Okay. Where is it? Right here. So, Yemen, this Houthi Iran-backed group, how true that story is, I don't know. Could be Israeli propaganda. Iran officially claims Israel used the occult and supernatural spirits during 12-day war. A senior Iranian official claims that Israel deployed the occult and supernatural spirits during its war with Iran. Iran International Report on Friday. Abdullah Ganji, former editor of the IRG, his 150,000 followers on X/Twitter on Wednesday that a strange phenomenon had taken place during the 12-day war. After the recent war, a few sheets of paper were found on the streets of Tehran containing talismans and Jewish symbols. He wrote, in the first year of the Gaza war, news had always leaked about Netanyahu meeting with occult specialists. A few hours ago, the supreme leader had stated that hostile countries and Western and Hebrew intelligence services How long has it been like that? I did not turn the camera off. This creeps me out. I'm gonna go see this real quick. Watch the stream itself and see where this all went south. What is going on? Oh, I wonder if I'll be able to do it with YouTube. I was starting to see signs of it earlier in the stream when we were watching the State Department briefing. Let me see. Yeah, that's no good. I don't know how that happened, guys. I don't know if somebody, whether, I hate to say this, if it was somebody at Rumble or what, but it's starting to feel like at times I am not alone in my Rumble studio. It's starting to make me think I may have to go back to using StreamYard because I did not turn off my camera, disable it for the stream. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the articles or not. Whether you got to hear about the Houthis attacking Israel or Iran accusing Israel of using occult practices and communicating with jinn in the 12-day war. Let me try. See what happens on YouTube. What is going on? How am I back in the studio? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's see how paranoid I am. We're going to the live stream on YouTube. Rumble's not letting me see what's going on. It's not letting me rewind. YouTube is. So I'm going to mute the volume and see where shit went south. All right. Okay, you guys caught that. So you guys got the. I mean, I guess. So you guys got that. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Before I could share the story of Iran accusing Israel of using occult practices and communicating with the jinn, making deals. Before I could eat, I don't even think I got to the the story of the Houthis in Yemen trying to attack Israel, whether that was a true story or not. The microphone and my mic and camera in the Rumble studio shut themselves off while I was in the open tab reading the articles. I'll show you again. All right. This was just moments ago. Holy shit. Holy shit. I did. Let me show you how the Rumble Studio works. What is going on? I didn't show you any of that. Rumble Studio. You have to be in the open tab to do this stuff, all right? We're going to hop back over to YouTube. We're going to take it back a few minutes. Iran officially claims Israel used the occult and supernatural spirits during 12-day. Holy cow. Are you kidding me? War. A senior Iranian official claims that Israel deployed the occult and supernatural spirits during its war with Iran. Wait for it. International report on Friday. Abdullah Ganji, former editor of the IRG's 150,000 followers on X/Twitter, on Wednesday that a strange phenomenon had taken place during the 12-day war. After the recent war, a few sheets of paper were found on the streets of Tehran containing talismans and Jewish symbols. He wrote, in the first year of the Gaza war, news had always leaked about Netanyahu meeting with occult specialists. A few hours ago, the supreme leader had stated that hostile countries and Western and Hebrew intelligence services I do not know how that happened. That is not possible. It's as if somebody, without my permission, came into the Rumble studio and deactivated the camera and the microphone. So I couldn't finish that story. Wow. The other day, when was it Friday, I think? No, it was Sunday. I did that Truth or Odyssey Sunday special. Remember Pizzagate? And when I started when we left the other platforms, YouTube and Facebook, and started streaming only on Rumble and Locals, shit got similar things were starting to happen. Like, they were not letting me share content. Like, something was trying to block people from seeing content. And now had made content since Sunday. And I come in here talking about the Israel-Syria. And then when I started reading the story from the Jerusalem Post about Iran accusing Israel of using occult practices and being in communication with the jinn, you guys didn't even get to hear about the jinn in that article. It's as if somebody else came in my Rumble studio while I was in the open tab reading the article. I cannot turn off the camera and turn off the microphone when I'm in an open tab reading an article. Because the Rumble studio is another tab. This is telling me I'm pushing buttons that they don't want me pushing. They don't like the fact that I'm calling out Trump on the... I've been calling out Trump since Operation Warp Speed. Ever since then, something about him has not felt right to me. That's the crazy thing. Like, people who voted for Trump, ideology-wise, were pretty much the same people. Only I'm seeing shit that some people just don't want to see. But Owen Schroyer is seeing it now. Luke Rukowski's been seeing it for a long time. This is... I've said this before. Towards the end of Trump's last run in office, this is Jared Kushner's America. All of this stinks of Jared Kushner. And mark my words. This Elon Musk American Party, Jared Kushner will align himself with them. Jared Kushner will probably try to run for president in Elon Musk's political party, the American Party. If you don't think that these Israeli strikes isn't somehow connected to the backlash of Epstein, here we go. Let's look into that. See, now I'm pissed. Jared Kushner, technocrat. See if they'll let me share this with you. I wouldn't get my hopes up. The information war has just got real. Okay? To be honest, I think we read this not too long ago. We did. Yeah. We did read this, yeah. That was with the whole Iran-Israel 12-day war stuff. The Vision 2030. That woman in the State Department briefing we watched at the beginning about our vision, the Vision 2030. All I'm saying is they think dude, this is so fucking crazy. Explain that to me. How was somebody able to access my Rumble studio, turn off my camera, turn off my microphone, while I was in another tab reading an article? That's got me frustrated and has me wanting to call it a day, guys. I'm mad. This is the Truther Odyssey, where we seek the truth in a world full of disinformation and indoctrination. And when you expose it, they will enter into your live stream studios and will tamper with your live stream because they know that this message from this program is getting out, that everything I've been saying since 2020 is spot on. This is HR 6395. This is the surveillance state. We are in the beginning of the Orwellian 1984 social credit, ESG, DEI. That shit's going nowhere, folks. The America we thought we knew is gone. And I'm pissed. I am royally pissed. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'm over this. You can't be either Neo or Agent Smith. Not only do you need your ammo, but that ammo's kind of pointless if you don't have